Hi folks, and welcome to your Gersnet immediate post-match reaction pod, coming to you in association with Forest Precision Engineering. My name's Alec Anderson. I'm speaking to you from outside Paisley Road West. That's about as close as I got to Paisley today, where Rangers have just beaten St Mirren by 3-0 in our final fixture of this largely miserable 2022-23 season. And it's also the third away fixture Rangers have had this season that I've not been able to see on television. I've not been able to get a ticket for, and so I've enjoyed it in the Loudon Tavern, where I don't care how good New Edmiston House is, they don't dish out the free pies and the free rolls the way the Loudon do. And of course, because nobody's allowed to show the game today live, I had a number of friends at the match who were sending me texts and mobile phone footage to keep me updated. So I can tell you it was a pretty routine 3-0 win for the Gers today. Nice way to see out the season. Too bad of the sentimentality of the night, I think. In terms of selections, actually cost us the chance to win all 5 of our post-split fixtures, but we've ended the season in nice style today. A lot of positivity. Fashion Sakala getting a couple of goals. Antonio Cholak also up in his goal tally for the season. John Souttar's turned into an absolute legend. I think he's the kind of Al Neri for Michael Beale to Steven Gerrard's Luca Brazzi and Philip Hollander. I'm afraid that's going to include the injuries as well, but he was absolutely immense today. One of the main changes being that he was partnered by John Lundstrom. This is John Lundstrom slipping back in defence to let Leon King just going to start on the bench today, recover from his wee tweak, his wee injury. Has maybe just need to get broken into the team more gently, and Leon King back into the team this season. It's been a hard season for him, but yeah, John Lundstrom came in and played alongside Big Souttar today, not slotting into the middle of an established two-man central defence as he has done in Europe largely. John Lundstrom previously today, he was in the Connor Goldson role, the right hand centre half, and he did fantastically. It gave us some great distribution as well coming out from the back. The distribution of John Souttar is absolutely fantastic. But listen, there's a guy called Bacchus was playing for St Mirren today, and as the guy who was dishing out the rolls in the Loudon was saying to me, it just reminds you of the line about Bacchus and his pards from John Keats' Ode to a Nightingale, which is one of the most kind of soporific poems in the canon. But Ode to a Nightingale is an entertaining poem, and you were wondering that Rangers were doing that thing in the first 20 odd minutes where, diagnosed by the manager as seducing themselves with possession. We're all orange kits. Neither team's really get much to play for except pride. We're doing that thing where we're stroking the ball about nicely. We've got Yanis Hadji starting today, Ryan Jack starting today, Morelos we've been dropped. Robbie McCrory was back in nets as well in place of Alan McGregor, and you're thinking, yeah, are we just kind of going through the motions, giving guys a run out? But lots of nice possession, but it was kind of, wasn't going anywhere. I think we had a couple of weak ass shots on goal, and that was really it. Up until a lovely ball down the left hand side from Ridvan Yilmaz from about the halfway line, playing Fashion Sakala. Sakala out muscles and outruns his man in the left flank, then he piles across the kind of 6-yard box, just in front of the 6-yard box of St Mirren, takes out 2 defenders and their goalkeeper, and then slots it in kind of uncomfortably again, hitting off a defender for his third uncomfortable finish, unconvincing finish in the trot fashion. But in it went for 1-0 in about 26 minutes. And again, you're thinking we're going to do that thing that we've done before, being seduced by possession. That it's a kind of one of the biggest oxymorons in football with Rangers. That thing, we have lots of the ball and the possession stats. We're up at like 78% for us, 22% for St Mirren, but we don't do anything with it. We actually end up falling asleep, and you're thinking St Mirren, well, they beat Celtic there this season. They're drawn at Parkhead. Obviously, it was the end of Giovanni Bronckhorst's reign became at St Mirren when he could only draw with them there. They've had a good season by their recent standards, the buddies, and you're thinking, are they going to be kind of celebration moment today? We take our foot off the gas, happy 1-0 up, and they end up pinging in a couple towards the end to have a wee kind of glory moment at home to round off their season nicely. But no, early on second half, Fashion gets played through. It doesn't get played through this time. It's Ridvan giving him the ball, but this time it's just a 2-yard pass from just inside his own half, and Fashion piles down the left again. This time he's cutting across the front of the 18-yard box, and the finish is spectacular. Their goalkeeper, I think St Mirren are trying out a new goalkeeper today. The guy is big, and like most big fellas, I can tell you, he would take their time getting down there. I think the ball kind of went under him, but nevertheless it was much more spectacular from Fashion. And he was raging to get taken off for Antonio Cholak later on. Fashion I think it was about 20 minutes to go when the manager made a quadruple substitution, and Fashion was absolutely outrageous. Don't give me this kind of borderline racist crap about how he's all so smiley and he's so cheery and all that. Fashion is a hard-working bampot. He absolutely loves it. If we had, we've got players, so many more players in the team who are much more skillful than him, but nobody's faster than him, and absolutely nobody has the application that he has. Fashion, I'm really happy for him today getting those 2 goals. I would like to have seen him get the hat-trick as well, but I was also happy for Big Tony Goals to come on. He's had a terrible time with injury, kind of summing up the season that it's been for Rangers. A lovely corner. What was this? When did we score that? God, it was 10 minutes to go or something like that. Actually well won by one of the other substitutes, Adam Devine finally coming on and playing in place of the captain, James Tavernier. Tav going off 20 minutes, part of that quadruple substitution. Who else did we take off? We took off Fashion for Cholak. Scotty Arfield come on for Yanis Hadji, and Leon King come on to let John Lundstrom go back into midfield for that last 20 minutes. But Adam Devine, just like doing it a completely different way for Tav. No 1-2s, no nutmegs, no kind of back heels and what have you. He just chased his man right down to the byline until the man tried to belt the ball off him. It come back off the St Mirren player before it went out for a corner. Well done, Adam. And then Todd Cantwell and Nico Raskin, something they've worked on, obviously showing the class that they have brought to the club since their arrival in January. A lovely kind of floated undercut and kind of underspun corner from Todd Cantwell. Nico Raskin moving towards the kind of penalty spot. Obviously they must have worked on this previously, and he nods the ball. Really, he's a wee guy, Nico, but he nods the ball to the perfect spot about 2 yards from the goal line for Antonio Cholak to come in like the total kind of poacher that he is, and nod it in from close range and get himself in amongst the Rangers support. If he's a guy that's not coming back next season, that was a nice moment for him. Other things to note today, a few times VAR was having a look at incidents, one of them involving Curtis Main. If you multiply Curtis Main by Stephen Robinson as a manager, you get what you expect, total thuggery. There's a reason that guy is built like a rugby league player. It's because he plays like one. He went through on Robbie McCrory. You could say maybe the first foot that made contact with Robbie came out to come off his line the way he does so well. We're much safer today with Robbie back in there. It is obviously time for Alan McGregor to go. He came off his line and he gets to the ball on the ground. Curtis Main slides in. You can maybe excuse the first kind of studs up challenge as being the striker just going for the ball, but he follows through with his trailing leg. VAR has a look at it. He just gets a booking. He's then taken aback for John Suter as well, and we have a guy trying to pick a fight with Todd Cantwell because he's getting targeted now. Cantwell, I think, was getting looked at for his response to that. Nico Raskin was having a go. We've got 2 guys in there that aren't going to take it, so the rest of the league have realised that, and it's going to be the Alfredo Morelos treatment they're going to get. The people try to get them sent off every week, but I think it'll be a lot harder next season when we get in the new raft of players that Michael Beale wants in. I don't think teams are going to know which one of us to try and pick on, because there's going to be a lot of quality and a lot of speed in that team next season. Talking of which, Yanis Hadji, I think you saw a bit today where Rabbi Matondo went through. His best moment in the game, Rabbi, was just after we scored the first goal. St Mirren come up. They have a header on goal. I think from a corner. Robbie McCrory gets down well to save it to his left hand side, and as they're kind of backtracking, St Mirren, Rabbi Matondo just piles through. He has a really tepid shot at the end of it, but he's beaten 3 or 4 players just piling right through into the St Mirren box, because he works well against backtracking defences. And the reason Rabbi Matondo isn't doing well for us this season is because we don't have backtracking defences in most of the games we play in Scotland. We are up against a low block. We need locksmiths, we need safe pickers, and that's where Yanis Hadji comes in. His lack of pace is maybe not, it's not a big problem when we have defences that aren't coming out to get us. We have to run past them, we're going to work our way through them with clever football. And he's used his time off, his time injured. Yanis, obviously, he's been stationary for a lot of that, and he's obviously been working like hell. He's got wider, not in the same way that me and Alfredo Morelos get wider. He's muscular now, he's built, and at one point he managed to, he actually out-muscled the kind of Hull Kingston Rovers low-knee Curtis Main. So there is that to Yanis' game, but he's one of the players that we don't know if we're going to see again next season. So I was delighted for him to go out there with a 3-0 win today. Really enjoyable, really nice way to end what's been a kind of brutal season, folks. Let's be honest. What's been the highlight? What can we take away from this season? Well, I think you can diagnose where the problems come. I think that's obviously we're still paying the price for trying our arse off last season. We got to a European final against a and we lost that on penalties to a team who weren't trying domestically in Eintracht Frankfurt, and we lost the league by 4 points to a team who weren't trying in Europe in Celtic. Rangers really went for it last season. I'm really proud of what we did last season, getting to Seville and what have you. We tried in every competition to our utmost, and we lost our manager halfway through the season. We're paying the price for pushing ourselves, playing like 60 odd games last season. We're still paying it this season, and then we're losing our manager again halfway through this season. So the condensed Champions League for a team like us who hasn't been in the Champions League for over a decade, really it was brutal, and I don't think we ever recovered from that. The fact that we were in the Champions League as well, I think you can't underestimate those two intense qualifiers that we had, or the third round qualifier and then the playoff match against Union Saint-Gilloise. So I saw Rangers for the first time ever in our history recovering a 2-goal first leg deficit to win a European tie this season, and then an absolute epic against Eindhoven, in which Glenn Kamara, who was dropped today, maybe not see him in a Rangers jersey again, but he was absolutely epic that night in Eindhoven. A fantastic performance to get us into the group stages, which was something we wanted. Maybe forgetting that because the Champions League group stages turned into such a nightmare, a record-breaking nightmare for us. We don't want to think about the fact that all last season, from Steven Gerrard was the manager, we couldn't get past Malmo, and then we couldn't win the league to get directly into the Champions League, and we couldn't quite win the penalty kicks against Eintracht Frankfurt to get directly into the Champions League group stages. That's all everybody wanted. We have to get into the Champions League. We did it, and we need to acknowledge that it's been done. We've got that under the belt. We've got the money under the belt. That was a massive achievement, and like most massive achievements achieved by a club who's still rebuilding its infrastructure, it has a toll on everybody. But we're getting rebuilt behind the scenes. We've got a new chairman. We've got a new CEO incoming who's definitely up for it. Things are moving. We've got a lot of changes behind the scenes at Rangers. We've got new Edmiston House, which is looking absolutely fantastic, and it just gives everybody a great feeling just about being a Rangers fan, just about the match day experience. That's going to encourage more people to come to the club to spend their money here. And Michael Beale, I think we've got a manager who really knows what he's doing. I think he lost outside the Celtic games, which are kind of acceptable in the way that it's taken us. That's always going to be the last domino to topple. He lost away to Aberdeen in a week that we were preparing for a massive game against Celtic in the Cup semi-final, and he's dropped the 2 points to. He's dropped 2 points to Hearts during the week. I think that's it, outside Old Firm games. So he's been magnificent, Michael Beale, since he's come in. There's massive changes already announced, as we know, with the squad. There's going to be more changes. We'll probably see another 5 players at least going, first team players going in the summer. We're definitely going in the right direction, and I've no great fears about that mob across the road, and they're the only thing between us and all out glory. Nice end to what's been a hard season, folks, and thanks very much for sticking with us in the post-match pods this season. Brutal without Colin, isn't it? Just not the same, but we'll try and muddle on, and hopefully we've got a pod. The flagship show, we're going to have 2 more Sunday pods, the penultimate one being tomorrow night. Forgive me, I don't know who's on it. Say I've been in the Loudon, so my brain's not in the best place in terms of recollection, but we'll have the flagship show for you tomorrow, 9:30 live on our YouTube channel, and we'll have another one next week. But meantime, enjoy the close season, folks. Get yourselves re-energised, because it's going to be a big season next season. Cheers.